Welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast with your host, Lorna Poole, sharing the secrets to creating wealth, investing, and that all-important money mindset. To find out more and accelerate your journey to financial freedom, head on over to www.lornapoole.com to get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast. Would you love to create consistent cash flow like a master in your life? With me today is Lia Dunlap. She is an intuitive life coach, master creator, speaker, and best-selling author. Lia is the creator of the Power Plan Life Coaching Program and a Master Creators Academy. She has over 20 years experience helping people find their purpose, create lasting change, and make money. Listen to this. She was once homeless, broke, and divorced. She struggled to find her place and share the orchid message with the world. She downplayed her gifts and continued working full-time corporate jobs to make ends meet. One fateful day, she received a divine download detailing the specific steps needed to attract money, opportunities, and clients with ease. The same steps that helped her take her business income from a trickle to making $30,000 in a single month. Steps she has shared with thousands of successful clients across the globe. Lia, great to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you, Lorna.
And I bet you know where I'm going to start. What really intrigued me about you is going from broke, divorce, because I hit rock bottom. And, you know, to me, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. But I would love to know how you got from homeless to I'm earning $30,000 a month.
Yes. Well, I think it's a very good question, and it's a good place to start. I think it's important to remember that, I didn't go to $30,000 a month in a few months. It was a few years.
I'm glad you're sharing that because
right?
I think we're sold that all the time, and that's not reality.
No, absolutely not. And I think that the big thing to really recognize in my own story, and I'll share that here in a moment, is that it was a path, it was a journey. And when I received all of the steps along the way and they all kind of fell into place, that's where I kind of culminated with that 1 month, which I've consistently continued to make money. But that was that first big windfall, if you will, that it was like really amazing that I'd really gotten everything in line and I'd really been where I wanted to be. But it didn't, of course, start that way. I had made some choices early on in my younger years. I got married pretty young. And the gentleman that I married at the time was definitely not a good fit for me. And so I have a divine gift, and I do use that gift in part of my business and with my clients, and that is the oracle. But at the time, I wasn't listening to my own insight. I wasn't listening to my own intuition. And so I went ahead with a marriage that really everything inside of me was telling me not to do. And after struggling to try to make that work, found myself at one particular point living with him in a car and waking up one day to find him using the last of our dollars to buy drugs. Yeah. And really, that was my quote unquote, my lowest point, right? I mean, it was a point where I looked at my life and said, this is not the life I expected for myself, that I had a lot more to give and to offer and to be in the world. And this was not the way to do it. So I got out of the car and I walked away. And that's how I became homeless, because we had already kind of been homeless because we had no real home to live in. We were living in the car in different people's driveways and wherever we could. But I literally had the clothes on my back when I walked away.
Wow.
And 53 cents in my pocket. And after being on the street for several days, alone and hungry, I reached out to my younger sister, of all things, with that last 53 cents. And that was a very big step for me in realizing that if I wanted things to be different, I needed to take action. I needed to do something different. And part of that was really admitting that I wasn't listening to my own intuition. I wasn't listening to what I really wanted to have my life look like and be like. And I needed to take responsibility for that piece of it and figure out what I could do next to make it different. And so part of that first step was really understanding what I did want my life to look like and really believing in that.
You're sharing a lot of golden nuggets already. And and I want to go through a few of them. One of them is, I just want to say them first. When we ignore our gut, because I think that's huge. Another really important thing you said, take responsibility for my life. Yes. And I took action and you walked away, because I have found anyone I've worked with, working with clients, anybody who changes their life, they are the concrete steps to going from this is not working to this is where I am now. And I'd love to go back to intuition, because so many out there ignore it and it's very costly.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, I think that now that I've, gone far away from that place, I still hold it dear, and recognizing that if I'm off path now, it's the first thing I check in with. Like, am I listening? Am I really listening to what the feedback I'm getting? And I like a phrase that I use often with my clients and even for myself is no failure, only feedback. And so if something didn't go right, I find that that's the first place I look is, what is this telling me? What is the message I didn't hear or didn't pay attention to? And oftentimes, even with my clients, it's really clear that sometimes they want to push against something, even though they'll even say out loud, kind of unconsciously.
But you said something else really brilliant in the beginning. You talked about alignment, because you see, we can't trust our gut if we're not in alignment.
Correct. Yes. And that, I think that's where the idea of using your intuition as that guidance system, to know that what is your true north internally will help you to guide you through any area of your life, as long as you return to it and listen really closely to when things feel aligned, when either a situation or an opportunity is right or not right for you. And that is there on purpose. That's my belief, is definitely that is there on purpose. And that's been my experience with my clients as well. Even though it might not seem like the right choice, maybe even from your head, right? But something in your gut is telling you, maybe this doesn't feel like the best choice in the moment, but something is going to come from it, or something bigger is coming. And so when we look at opportunities, I really, encourage my clients to use that as a guidance system and to recognize that it's there on purpose.
And how did, so back to the story. So how did you go from where you are to earning big money?
So, once I kind of utilized the system of my own mind and said, okay, well, what do I really want? That was the first step. And so the download that I got was I needed to A, know what I wanted. B, I needed to take some action right where I was toward that. And the other thing was to start to really be grateful for what I did have. And that was probably at that particular point the hardest piece, because of course I didn't have much, but I did have a place when my family took me back in for a while. So I did have a place. I had an opportunity. I had the capacity to work. I had, things that I could do. And so I slowly started to build the system, the power plant system, basically based on those pieces. Those are three of the main components, which is, what do we want to do? And so I started to kind of create a plan, hence the power plan, of where I wanted to go with my life and what things I wanted to achieve and where I wanted to use my skills. And so that sometimes that looked like I got education, so I went back to school. I started learning from other people that were where I wanted to be, so I started taking courses and workshops and things like that so that I could learn more about what I wanted my business to look like. Speaking trainings, other coaches and masters of the craft of coaching that I've worked with and had the opportunity to, study with, so that I could provide a better service and therefore raise my own game, but also do a better service for my clients. And by doing that, I was able to kind of create a momentum of increasing my wealth every step of the way. So as I continue to grow and align and grow, kind of consistently threading one into the other, more fully aligned I became, the bigger I was able to step out and the more money I was able to earn.
Yeah, I think you're saying a really powerful thing. You're talking a lot about investing in yourself, and you're talking about align and grow, align and grow, and align and grow. And just to share my own journey a little bit, I hit rock bottom in 2010 over relationship, and I got into relationship coaching, and that was fine, and I was doing great and all that. And then I've hit this sort of, oh, I don't want that anymore. And then you have to go back to those steps.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely, and that's why I say it's like a journey, right? Because it's never like we're done necessarily. I mean, I continue to do that now. In the last few years, I've brought that Oracle gift more to light, and it's brought me an entirely new.
What do you mean by an Oracle gift? Let's talk about this.
Sure, yeah. So I actually have a divine guide who I have nicknamed the Oracle. So I tap into that Oracle guidance for my own clients. So in other words, when we're in a session, I have my coaching experience over the last 20 some years, but I also have an Oracle that actually will lay out in front of me visually a map for my clients. It'll be their present, future, and their past. And when they ask me questions, we can look at that map. And it's a way for them to have additional validation for their decisions, as well as guidance about if a decision is very close one way or the other, we can look at the outcomes of what that would look like. And she gives them guidance from their own guide sometimes. So for me, utilizing that more now in the function of my coaching practice has allowed me to not only reach a broader audience, but to, what I like to say is, it helps my clients go further, faster. And so that is the kind of intuitive, psychic, some people call it mystic guidance that I receive, but it is a divine download, and I simply tap into that and utilize that during my sessions.
Yeah, because I feel a lot of people just they just don't exercise that muscle.
Yes, absolutely. I have clients across the board. Some, don't use or touch or tap into their own intuition at all. And so this is a great experience for them to kind of get comfortable with that and to guide them through that process. And others who are just the opposite end of the spectrum, that they're very much in that, but then they don't have the balance of having the practical tools and knowledge to utilize their gifts in a way that their business can prosper and thrive. And that's my goal, is to help them bring that all together so that they're using, in a holistic approach, using all the benefits and gifts that they have.
Yeah, because I'm a big believer that the more you're in tune with yourself, the more you're in tune with your intuition, and the more you work on your mindset and invest in yourself. And I mean, everything you're saying here, really. But, that intuition is a massive part of turning your life around. And I am sure, Lia, from the fact that you were living out of a car, that probably catapulted you to do something about it, and probably got you more in tune. Because when I hit rock bottom, I went to meditation groups. I did, I used to do visions and stuff like that. And, it's amazing how it gets you so in tune with yourself.
It's true. And it really, like I said earlier, it's one of those moments where if things aren't going quote unquote right, or I'm not feeling in my body, right? Like as I'm working, I found myself, I always just step back and remind myself to listen, because the guidance is always there. And that's definitely something I share with my clients. Like, your guidance is always there. It doesn't go away. Sometimes you got your fingers in your ears and you're not listening, but that's not the guidance's problem. It's like, it's always available to you. And, I'm not immune to getting busy and distracted and pushing. And when I feel myself pushing, I think that's a good note to say, when you feel yourself pushing towards something, it can be a sign that you just need to pause and take a breath and know that if you're pushing, you're probably not following that intuition. You're probably not following that guidance, because it really does allow you to have a flow and an ease to your life when you do. And that to me, even more than the $30,000, was I reached that level with ease at that point, because I was literally just naturally and organically growing something that I was meant to do. And because I fell, what I like to call, I found my unique life purpose, or my ULP, when I put all those things together and really created my business based on that.
Yeah, life purpose. If you follow your life purpose, it's easy. But some of us get lost about what that is, because life purpose is very natural to the person that does it, and then they think it's something everybody can do, but that's not necessarily the case.
Sure, it isn't. And I think that it's one of those things that sometimes in as much as we were talking about having someone else who's been before you and guiding you, and like teachers and things like that, and getting, kind of investing yourself, is investing in those people that see you as the best of you. And there are people that have the capacity to really recognize in you sometimes what you don't see in yourself. But when you do see it and you do fall, in alignment with it, then the reward of that really comes from the ease that it brings to your life and your business. And so it's one of those things where until you feel it, maybe you don't know it, but I will know that most of my clients, when we find it, when we take the time to kind of look for it, that there is something for them that they're meant to do. And it may not be a specific task, but it means that they have to do their work in a certain way for it to feel aligned. And that in and of itself is your life purposes. So some people, it's about bringing magic to children. So, all these different things that really, it's just about finding the way that your mind, body, and spirit are all working together, as they were designed to do.
Yeah. And what about your Oracle message, creating financial freedom? It's for a lot of people, it seems so far-fetched.
Yeah. I think that one of those notions of financial freedom being elusive comes from the thought that there's a number attached to that. And I think that the goal really is to recognize that when you're in the flow of having whatever money you need to appear to live the life you choose to live, and you're not chasing someone else's dream, then the freedom comes from being at ease. The freedom comes from having those experiences and the lifestyle that feels best aligned to you. And it's different for everyone. And having a way of creating a cash flow system that is designed to your unique purpose and also to your unique lifestyle, so that you're not chasing somebody else's dream, and you're not trying to create something that doesn't feel right to you just to get the money, but more in line to just have that freedom be about having what you need when you need it, and having a flow of that cash moving through your life that makes that easy.
Financial freedom, people are not truly about the money. They're more about the value of freedom.
Yes, I agree.
It's a personal value. Freedom is a big value to a lot of people. And what they're really looking for is the freedom to be who they are and live the way they want to live, and, be with their family and all this stuff. Money it helps you with a lot of things, but it's not always the motive.
I agree. I think it can't be, I find that when people are struggling with it, it's because it's the only motive, right? And
yeah, so I like that. Say that again. That's good.
Yeah, it's, when the people are struggling with their money issues, I find that it's because that's their only motive, is to find the money.
Yeah.
And when they move back away from that and ask, what is freedom really about? How do we achieve that for you? I just came back from taking a group of VIP clients to Thailand in February, and, we were on a little island, and people were living very simply and super happy. And we all wanted to stay there because it was so amazing and peaceful. And the reality of that is, for them, that's freedom. Like, they don't have to have a lot of stuff. They have a very beautiful place to live. They have all the things they need. It was a very luxurious place. And yet, I think that was one of the messages we took away. It was like the freedom of being in that space and having that kind of a lifestyle that allowed you to just be calm and peaceful and happy, it's almost in a way priceless, right? So it's not so much about that dollar figure, really about the experience of being in that place that really helps people see that the freedom part matters more than anything.
Oh, Lia, I love this conversation.
Oh, it's been lovely.
Anyone who's listening to this and, they want to create consistent cash flow in their life, they don't know where to begin, they want that freedom of that financial freedom gives you. What's the kind of one thing you want to say to her, that kind of aha from our conversation?
I think the first thing to really recognize for anyone is decide first and foremost what it is you really want to have freedom mean to you.
That's good.
First. And then the rest actually is very practical and easy. But until you have that vision and that idea and that concept really fully aligned, it makes everything else more challenging, for sure.
Absolutely. This has been amazing. I totally agree with you. And listen to your gut.
Yes, absolutely. That's for sure. I would say, more often than not, your intuition is there to take you where you really need to go.
So, Lia, how do I find out more about you?
Well, of course, anyone who'd like to kind of find out more about the Cashflow program, I know that I've, provided Lorna with a link for that. But to get a hold of me, you can go to oracleonpurpose.com. That's my website. All the details about who I am, where I am, what next events we're doing. You can find all that information there.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. This has been amazing.
Wonderful.
As I said 2 times already.
It was wonderful. It was so great to have the opportunity to speak to your listeners here today.
Hey everyone, remember to join us in the Private Financial Freedom Podcast Facebook group with me, your host, Lorna Poole. This is a safe haven of like-minded wealth-getting go-getters who, like you, are on their journey to creating financial freedom in their life. This is where you and I can get intimate. I can give you the support and guidance to go from where you are now to where you want to be, developing your wealth mindset and creating your financial freedom life. Join at www.facebook.com/groups The Financial Freedom Podcast. You will see the links to this on the website. It's in the show notes, or type it into the Facebook group. All you have to type in is Financial Freedom Podcast and you will see us there. Look forward to seeing you in the group. Take care. Thank you for joining us on the Financial Freedom Podcast, to creating wealth, investing, and developing your money mindset. To get started today on your journey, head on over to www.lornapoole.com and grab your free course, 5 Steps to Breaking Free from Your Poverty Mindset and Accelerating Your Journey to Financial Freedom. See you there.